Continuing, it says, whether broadband, wireless, or cellular, while this can often be managed in urban environments, is far from guaranteed in remote areas. Autonomous vehicles, remote surgery, and remote sensing, such as water pipes, all require internet access, and there is considerable work worldwide going on in this area as a result. The next mobile telephone standard, 5G, is likely to be part of the solution. Universal coverage and ability to handle vast numbers of things connecting simultaneously is built into the technical specifications. Achieving full coverage and the perception of good bandwidth at all times will almost certainly require a collaborative and holistic approach between telecommunications, broadband, Wi-Fi, and satellite providers to get the best out of the connected future. Individuals, communities, companies, and governments will all need to be more collaborative and interconnected. Products will need to be designed with connections in mind. Services such as telecommunications will need to have considered the needs of transportation, healthcare, entertainment, agriculture when designing the performance of this service. And people will need to be willing to share data to give everyone better information. As coverage improves, the increasing flow of data that follows will require expanding infrastructure to support data consumption. It is predicted to increase tenfold by 2020, according to Cisco, and there are mixed views on whether the power consumption increases. Salakia, power and consumption increase associated with the data increase can be mitigated to some extent. According to the UK's independent newspaper, data centers consumed about 3% of the world's energy in 2016, and the power consumption of data centers is expected to triple in the next decade. The proliferation of devices collecting, storing, and processing data for the Internet of Things will be one driver for this growth, but it won't be the most significant because many of the Internet of Things sensors will be very low data. Typical sensors will generate only a few hundred megabytes a year. Video uses about 1 gigabyte per hour and requires significant processing power as well as a lot of storage space. Video already accounts for most data on our networks, and entertainment, healthcare, lifestyles, and industrial uses that are all likely to make increasing use of video. This is a serious energy issue, and data centers are already trying to improve the power efficiency of their plants. It is, of course, in their financial interest to do so. The big players such as Facebook, Google, and Apple are all pushing towards using fully renewable energy, building in cool climates to reduce cooling costs, as well as considerable energy consumption in systems architecture and operating procedures. Some predict that the use of video will have to be rationed or taxed in the future as one measure to contain the growth in energy consumption. In addition to security coverage and energy, there are also societal issues emerging from technology advances, some of which have been touched on earlier. For example, the future of work. What will all do when everything is smart and autonomous? What jobs will there be left to do by humans? And what will we learn in school when everything is changing so fast? The future of work is an entire subject in its own right, but the types of jobs, how we educate for them, and how we create a society that highly values different types of work, such as caring, is a much stupid topic. Salakia, much studied topic. There have been some social experiments by governments in countries around the world, such as Finland, Namibia, Canada, and the U.S., to see what impact a universal basic income, or right, universal basic income. I don't know if I did a video on that or I was going to. Universal basic income or a shorter working day might have on society as a whole. Actually, the end of work has been predicted for centuries, but historically, technology has always generated more jobs than it has destroyed. Though it is too early to predict whether this trend will hold this time, it is also likely that the Internet of Things will help to create a sharing economy, a world where ownership is less important. We already know. Shalakia, we already no longer own our music or movies. We just pay for services to access them. It is likely that will be also sharing cars, kitchens, and even pets in the future. Well, how the fuck you gonna do that? And that was basically going into that cloud and all that. You accessing everything like certain softwares you wouldn't have to go out and buy. Like back when I got it, I did take a class in computers. Back when I was learning, like with every operating system or certain applications you wanted to use, you had to go and buy that application and install it on your computer. With this cloud and with all that shit, you could basically pay for the service to have access to different applications. In South Korea, the shared living room is already thriving, as apartments are relatively small and young adults often live with their parents. There is a healthy trade in social spaces to rent by the hour so that young people can socialize in home like spaces. That's crazy. It's also possible that we will eat out more often, so the amount of space needed for a kitchen at home will be harder to justify. Future apartments may have many communal kitchens rather than a kitchen for every apartment. Parking garages in the apartments built Parking garages in apartments built in California today are being designed with alternative future use such as gym or cinema in mind once shared cars are the norm. It's already possible with appropriate checks to rent a dog by the hour in New York as a walking companion. For people who struggle with the overall commitment of owning a pet, or occasionally need a cat to deal with a mouse problem, the option of buying a pet as a service could be appealing. The sharing economy raises issues around the future of manufacturing. Manufacturing. In theory, we will need less manufacturing if everyone is sharing. Our appetite for consumption of products may actually decrease as our consumption of services increases. That sounds crazy, but then think about it, you know what I mean? Like they saying when you gotta pay for more shit, you know what I mean, you actually gonna stop, and that's probably got some kind of in a sick, weird, twisted, fucked up way that is some truth to that. You know what I'm saying? Why do you think all these stores closed last year? Not only because of what, DJ Trump did, shutting down the government, fucking up his own economy. And this is a businessman. You can't tell me he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. At the end of the day, not only just that, but because a lot of people, people were, as far as like the mirth of this place and wasting money in this place, a lot of people, I seen Edomites that was up there talking about fuck Christmas. So, you know what I mean? Like, as far as like, because without like all these little holidays, I mean, I really didn't get the gist of it. But when you sing like they had National Pizza Day and all these dumbass, stupid ass man made like things to keep this economy afloat. But you had a lot of people not participating. They didn't put a lot of energy into this past Christmas season, and that's why that actually adds to not just what Trump did, but as far as all those stores closing. I mean, a lot of those were you know stores that people go to these ain't like what I'm saying as far as what's the word it was more so like things people were buying for it wasn't out of necessity. Like you ain't hearing about no grocery stores closing, or at least I didn't. You know. But like I said, a lot of chain stores like Family Dollars and whatnot. You know what I mean? Because people wasn't spending money like they, and then it wasn't as much money in the economy because, like I said, DJ Trump shut down the government. So I was just taking the time to think about it because they said, well, shit, our appetite for consumption of products may actually decrease as our consumption of services increase. Because the more shit you got to pay for, the less shit you gonna actually, and your money just steadily going out. You know what I mean? Overall, despite the many significant challenges still to be overcome, the cloud and the Internet of Things are great enablers for major advances across society. The planetary Salakia, the planet will require creative ideas and innovation, probably coming from digital natives who have grown up online to see what could be possible and make the world a better place. The potential to improve quality of life, increase the productivity of companies, and tackle some of the big global challenges based on the cloud and the Internet of Things is real and just waiting to be realized. So, like I said, this is a book written from a lot of techie standpoints. So, of course, you know what I mean. I remember I was watching on the, I think it's the news. It was a guy, that, he was all for the chip. He had like 5 chips in him. He had, he could open up his car door. He could access his computer. You know what I mean? You gonna have a lot of dummies. You know what I mean? That's why you got people run out and go get. And, I was talking to a female I knew from when I was in the world, and she was up there talking about buying a phone, and I'm like, ain't that phone like $800,000? And she, how women get mad when the dude talking about, you know, a car or something that whatever that guy's into, and if a female don't understand it, she that waste of money or whatever. But this bitch was up there talking about this fucking phone. I'm like, it's a phone though, you know what I mean? Like, what happens even though if you got the insurance? What happens if I steal it or we arguing or playing too much and you drop the bitch and break it? Even though it's insured, you still got to. I mean, like it's a phone. You know what I mean? Like it's but she got to. It just so my point being is there's gonna be a lot of people that's gonna run and get that chip. You know what I mean? Especially the way Esau gonna present it, because he's gonna present it in a way where it's gonna look convenient. So with that, Salakia, I just want to get one more script and then I'm gonna end it. I think it's Second Corinthians 2:11. God, I didn't have to even look it up. This is the book of Second Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 11. Least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So therefore, is uh, man a great millstone through the power of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shah. Been blessed to have our eyes open to see you know the times ahead, what this technology is. So we aren't ignorant of his devices. And now in that day, we don't know because, who's to say what, we don't know if we are of the elect. That's what we say of the hopeful elect. Because in that day, well, you got men that were adamant and I'm not going to do this, and then be put in a situation and take the chip. Yeah, like, and how that's the truth. And I know that's the truth because, like they said, you could have had men fever it and all, you know, 10 toes down, in this truth. And then for whatever reason, the Most High took it from them and they back in the world as if they never was in this. So that proved that in that day, you don't know what kind of spirit the Most High going to have on you. That's why I pray that the Most High don't take the spirit from me. And with that, I want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rachakodas Rakatah. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of earth, pushing the truth with faith and sincerity, risking their lives and the freedom to do so. Shalom to the Akwaf, the Akim out there listening and learning. Shalom to the confusion of faith brethren join onto our ranks, as well as those that were hoping to join onto our ranks. Shalom to all the brethren, the sincere Akim, that risking their lives and freedom to push this truth now more than ever, because, we see the times, you know. And shalom to those sisters that's helping us, and playing their position, not trying to take over a position, but just, doing it as way the Most High set it up, And with that, stay strong in this truth. Akim, man, like this is my first Passover, and wow, I've been catching, you know what I mean? Like the fire's turned up. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's just, being careful with what you eat and just the like, the affliction, I could feel, this is a serious time. And with that, I want to say shalom, shalom, and abad babal.